Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Harakak Wadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, of GMS that rule well. Those are the true prophets of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, if you want to believe that or not. And those are the men who I learned this pure 144% truth from, all right? They have the true understanding of the Bible given to them by the Most High and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, all right? And peace, love, and salutations to the elect of the true nation of Israel, Yasharallah, okay? I seen this TikTok, man. I saved it. I'm like, that's lesson worthy, and here I am, doing a lesson on this TikTok, man. These are just clips of lightning, man, all right? And it was just really brought me back to brought me back to when I was younger, man. Before I was in this truth. I had a really big fear of lightning when it was storming outside. I just wanted to get inside, man. Get somewhere where lightning couldn't strike me. Because as kids, as when you're young, you have these strange. You overly fear things, man. All right. And as I get older, as the Lord revealed His truth unto me, I understand why the Lord had me fear something like lightning, and other things like lightning. I have other little fears, when I was little, like I had a fear of wasps and big hornets, not bees. I don't know why. I didn't have no fear of bees, but like big wasps and hornets. I had a big fear of those. But now, I don't really fear lightning. I don't fear really. I mean, we're in the flesh, so we're gonna be fearful and react certainly to things. But we know, being in this truth, knowing Yahweh Shai Shai, we only fear the Lord. We only fear Yahweh Shai Shai, man. We don't fear lightning. We don't fear any 6'8" muscular dude who's got a track record to unaliving people. We don't fear these things, man. We don't fear getting ran over and whatnot. But you are supposed to react accordingly, to things, man. You don't just let yourself get unalived, But at the same time, we don't fear the Lord. I mean, we only fear the Lord, all right? And the Lord has these animals that are able to do a lot of damage to you, and things like lightning and storms and tornadoes and hurricanes and tsunamis and wildfires, and blizzards. The Lord has, Yahweh Shai has these things created, for the wicked, for those that don't fear the Lord, all right? Okay? So, I was just thinking back to my childhood, the thing is, like, lightning is out of your control, man. Because who controls lightning? What controls lightning? Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, all right? The creator of the heavens and the earth, all right? And His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. That's what created lightning and is in control of lightning, all right? It doesn't mean go walk around in a crazy storm as if the Lord ain't gonna touch you with lightning. No, just don't be overly like fearful of lightning. Fear the Lord, all right? If you happen to be in the in a storm, be wise. Take your time, be safe, and get yourself into safety and at your house or a safe place. Don't just be overly filled up with fear where you can't do anything, man. Where it keeps you up at night, where you have convulsions or can't breathe or you can't eat or you can't function because, oh my God, I could die because a lightning could strike me from this point because it's happened before. Like shit, man. Like chill. And if I could say that to my older self, I would. But at the same time, don't tempt the Lord. Don't be intentionally going into thunderstorms, lightning storms, and bang, your dumbass gets struck by lightning because the Lord's like, okay, you're gonna try me, bet. And the Lord, puts a whole bunch of megawatts of electricity in your dome, and all that's left of you is a burnt mark on earth. You're totally incinerated, because it's possible. Anything's possible. Anything is possible with Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and nothing's impossible with Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Thus saith the Bible. So I'm done rambling and babbling and talking, whatever you want to call it. I'm gonna show you this TikTok. Bring out some scriptures. Look at that, man. Wood, trees, they're not a light thing. They're heavy, man. All right. You gotta have. It takes a lot of power, to knock down a tree, to move a tree with that much force and energy, So and me and my, I gotta cut this big ass tree in the back of my yard down, and I decided, hey, I'm gonna just hire somebody to cut this thing down, man. It's huge, there's some branches on the ground, I'm like, shit, let me just stomp these down, and she almost tripped and rolled my ankle, because in trees are, they're thick, man. Their branches, they're strong. They're not brittle. Some are, but you could underestimate a tree and how feeble a human body is, man. We're in these chains of darkness, all right. This body, we're not immortals, all right. So just goes to show you how powerful the Lord is, man.
He just got struck again.
So yeah, man, some powerful stuff, man, and that comes from the Most High, and His Son. The Lord controls where those lightning strikes happen, man. It's not by coincidence. All right. So here's this Proverbs. I'm gonna get this one. Job 35:5. It says, Who hath laid the measures thereof, if thou knowest, or who hath stretched the line upon it? All right. It's like here. What? Where's the precept I just had, man? I had a precept on lightning, man. Slakia. Let me get it. Job 28 and 26. All right, Job 28 and 26 says, when he made a decree for the rain and a way for the lightning of the thunder, all right, then did he see it and declare it. He prepared it, and searched it out. All right. Slakia. So the Lord, it says when he made, all right, when he made who? The Lord made a decree for the rain and a way for the lightning of the thunder. All right, so the Lord controls these lightning strikes, man. I still get kind of fearful, when I'm in a storm, a lightning storm, a thunderstorm, man, because lightning can strike at any moment, and bang, the Lord could take me out or a loved one out, because of some iniquity or something like that, man. I didn't do enough, and the Lord's like, hey, I'm taking you out right now, with lightning, because lightning is instant, bang, but like one moment you're alive and a millisecond later, bang, you're gone, you ever seen somebody get struck by lightning on the internet? It's instant. It bang, that dude's dead. There's no like slow process. No, that person is gone. And when you're struck by lightning, all of your insides are burnt up, turned to ash, electrified, instantly, So that's why it's crucial to fear Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, man. All right, and nothing else. Okay. Proverbs 16 and 6. It says, by mercy and truth, iniquity is purged, and by the fear of the Lord, men depart from evil. Okay. It's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power, Yahweh Bashmi Shai. All right. That's why we fear the Lord. All right. And if you fear the Lord, you're going to be doing what the Lord tells you to do. You're going to be keeping his commandments. Okay. Truly serving him in truth and sincerity, man, to the best of your ability. All right. Praying to the Lord. All right. Getting closer to the Lord. Improving yourself more and more as the days go by. Every day, ask yourself, am I doing enough? Am I doing better? What can I do? What can I do more? So a lightning strike doesn't happen unto you, man. Because that's just one of the ways the Lord could take you out, man. The Lord could take you out by disease, by lightning. All right. Jeremiah 5 and 22 says, fear ye not me, saith the Lord. All right. Do you fear the Lord? All right. You don't fear the Lord? I fear nothing but myself. Okay, the Lord's going to show you, what happens to somebody like that. I fear nothing but me, Or you fear the white man, or you fear something else. Because the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, is in control of all things, man. All right. Okay, that might be my next lesson. Okay. I just typed in fear and then Lord. All right. I'm going to bring some precepts out, man. This is Proverbs 3 and 7. It says, be not wise in thine own eyes. All right. So don't just fear anything. Don't fear, but only fear the Lord. It says, fear the Lord and depart from evil. Okay. That's why we keep the commandments of the Lord to the best of our ability. That's why we go out there to the highways and byways, because if we don't, the Lord's going to make our lives a living hell. All right. Because the Lord brings forth his judgment every day. Every morning doth the Lord bring forth his judgments, bring forth them to the light. Every day some bad is happening to somebody. It's because these people don't fear the Lord. All right. The scriptures say a sinner doeth evil, iniquity. All right. A sinner sins 100 times. Okay. And his days be prolonged, but I know, let me get it. All right. Ecclesiastes 8 and 12 says, though a sinner do evil 100 times, and his days be prolonged, all right, continued, yet surely I know that it shall be well with them that fear Yahweh, which fear before him. All right, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, which fear before him. All right. So yeah, a sinner, is prospering and whatnot. But hey, eventually the Lord's going to get that man or woman. Okay. Because they don't fear the Lord. All right. Hey, just because somebody that fears the Lord is going through it, looks like, they're on the way out. But hey, wait a minute. The Lord's going to increase them. All right. Until next time. Shalom. Hope this was